king.
It's going to be Bryant.
Has to put it up for the buzzer. Banks it in. He banks it.
Kobe Bryant didn't want to play basketball. He wanted to conquer it. Every possession, every practice, every breath was war. He didn't smile on the court. He studied, stalked, struck. To most players, the game was about points, wins, maybe a ring. To Kobe, it was about domination, mental, physical, eternal. He wasn't chasing approval. He was hunting legacy. And legacy to Kobe meant making you feel small. He didn't just want to win. He wanted you to remember how you lost and what fueled that fire. Not just ambition, but something darker. Grudges, disrespect, any moment where someone doubted him, even a whisper. Kobe heard it, logged it, stored it in the vault, and when the moment came, he cashed it in. You didn't have to be a superstar. You didn't even have to be a rival. If you crossed the line, even once, Kobe remembered. Because Kobe wasn't just competing with you. He was competing with time, with greatness, with the version of himself he saw in the mirror every morning at 4 a.m. The world saw Mamba mentality as motivation, but it was more than that. It was a code, a creed that said, if you disrespect me, you've already lost. This isn't a story about trash talk. It's not about rivalries. It's about targets, marked, remembered, hunted. Welcome to Game 7 Stories. This is top 6 players Kobe Bryant hated the most. Shaquille O'Neal, the fractured brotherhood. Some names on Kobe Bryant's list were enemies from day one. Others were family. And no bond broke louder than this one. Because before the hate, there was history. 3 championships, a dynasty, and 2 of the greatest to ever do it. On the same team, Kobe and Shaq. To fans, they were unstoppable. To teammates, they were combustible. Because while the banners went up, so did the tension. Shaq was the icon, the veteran, the king of the paint. Kobe was the prodigy, the student, until he wasn't. He trained harder, talked louder, started winning more arguments in practice. And suddenly, he didn't want to be the sidekick anymore. Kobe believed in work. Shaq believed in dominance. Kobe studied tape. Shaq trusted his size. Kobe wanted to be Jordan. Shaq was happy being Shaq. And when those visions clashed, the locker room felt it. The media fed on it. And the fans had to choose. Kobe called Shaq lazy. Shaq called Kobe selfish. They took shots in interviews. They jawed at each other in huddles. And somehow, kept winning. First in 2000, then again in 2001, and once more in 2002. 3 straight titles. But each one brought them further apart. The more they won, the more Kobe wanted credit, and the more Shaq felt threatened. By 2004, it wasn't sustainable. The feud boiled over. Shaq was traded to Miami. And Kobe? He finally had the team to himself. But he didn't forget. He never forgets. Shaq dropped a diss track.
Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
Kobe didn't respond with words. He responded with legacy. 2 more. Titles. Finals, MVPs, and a new narrative. He didn't need Shaq. Years later, they laughed about it on live TV, joked like old friends. But even then, you could feel the scars. When Kobe passed in 2020, Shaq broke down on national television. Not just for a teammate lost, but for a bond that never fully healed. Because sometimes, the deepest hate comes from the people you once loved most. Belle. The disrespect no one expected. Some players earned Kobe's hate with talent. Others earned it with a single move. And Belle, he did both. He wasn't a superstar, wasn't a champion. But in Kobe's world, status didn't matter. What mattered was disrespect. And Belle made that mistake on national TV. It was Game 5, Suns versus Lakers. The series was tense, and Kobe, he was cooking, mid-range, post-up, fadeaways. Same move, same result. Bucket. Belle had enough.
Call a flagrant 2 on that.
Next time down the court, he didn't guard. He grabbed and threw. Kobe didn't retaliate, not with fists. He got up, dusted off, and said just one thing in the locker room. Who?
I don't know this guy. I might have said one word to this guy. I don't know this kid.
That was the insult. He didn't say Raja's name. He erased it. From that moment on, it was personal. Kobe treated Raja Belle like an exam he wanted to ace. He studied him, then torched him. Game 6. Kobe dropped 50, fadeaways, stepbacks, right over Belle's outstretched arms. And every bucket came with a stare. But the beef didn't end with the series. Even years later, the tension was real. Belle said Kobe was arrogant, cold, impossible to like. Kobe? He kept receipts. In interviews, in games, he made sure Belle felt it. Because in Kobe's mind, fouling him wasn't just physical, it was philosophical. A message that said, I don't respect your game. And Kobe didn't take that lightly. He didn't forget the shove, the tone, the name. In the end, Belle became something worse than a rival. He became a symbol of everyone who ever tried to humble Kobe Bryant and failed. Ray Allen, the silent sniper. Not every feud needs shouting. Sometimes it's the silence that cuts deepest. And Ray Allen? He never raised his voice. But to Kobe Bryant, he said more than enough. Before they were all-stars, before the rings and rivalries, Allen did something Kobe never forgave. He judged him. In a 2004 interview, Ray called Kobe selfish. Said he'd never win without Shaq. That no one would want to play with him. To the media, it was just a soundbite. To Kobe, it was a scar. Because Ray didn't come at him like a rival. He came at him like a professor. Clinical, detached, and worst of all, respected. Kobe believed in war. Ray played like a surgeon. Smooth, cold, deadly. And that made it worse. Because Kobe couldn't rattle him. Couldn't drag him into fire. Couldn't even get him to look his way. So instead, Kobe went at him the only way he knew how. He attacked. Every time they matched up, Lakers versus Sonics, Lakers versus Celtics, it didn't matter. Kobe took every possession personally. He posted Ray up, backed him down, spun off him, scored over him. But the peak of their tension? The 2008 finals. Boston versus LA, Ray and the Celtics humiliated Kobe's Lakers. 1-6. Blew them out in Game 6. Kobe never forgot it. He didn't cry, didn't rage. He waited. 2 years later, 2010 finals. Same teams, same players, different ending. Game 7. Kobe outlasted them, beat them, took back what they stole. He never spoke Ray's name, never acknowledged the comments, but every shot, every drive, every finals moment carried a message. You don't get to define me. Because in Kobe's world, silence wasn't peace, it was pressure. And Ray Allen, he lit the fuse. Ron Artest, chaos meets the Mamba. Before they were teammates, before the hugs and titles and redemption, Ron Artest was a problem. For everyone, but especially for Kobe Bryant. Artest didn't talk trash. He talked violence. He didn't play defense, he played deterrence. And to Kobe, who lived off rhythm, control, and flow, Ron was chaos. They clashed in the 2009 Western Conference semifinals. Lakers versus Rockets. 7 games of war. And at the heart of it, 2 alpha dogs trying to break each other. Artest guarded Kobe like a shadow with elbows. Hands on hips, chest in the back. Every dribble was a wrestling match. Kobe didn't back down. He welcomed it. Fought fire with footwork. Pain with precision. Game after game, Kobe got under his skin. Hit tough shots. Talked back. Smirked. And that's what broke Artest. Game 2. After another Kobe bucket, another stare down, Artest snapped. He got ejected. Tossed for headbutting Kobe mid-game. And the look on Kobe's face? Calm. Like he expected it. Because this wasn't emotion. This was strategy. Kobe didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to make you lose control. And Artest did. Over and over. The Lakers won the series in 7. Kobe moved on. Ron went home. But here's where the story twists. 1 year later, Ron joined the Lakers. And Kobe? He didn't flinch. Because deep down, he respected it. Respected the fight, the fire, the friction. In 2010, they won a title together. And in Game 7 of the finals, It was Artest who hit the dagger. Enemies turned allies. But before the banners and celebrations, Artest was one of the few who dared to challenge Kobe's fire, with fire of his own. And Kobe? He hated him for it. Right up until the moment he didn't. Chris Childs, the one who swung first. Most players got under Kobe's skin with words. But Chris Childs, he used fists. April 2000, Lakers versus Knicks. A regular season game, until it turned into something else. Because Kobe didn't like how Childs was guarding him. And Childs didn't like how Kobe kept throwing elbows. They jawed, shoved. And then, it happened. Kobe stepped into Childs' space, and Childs threw a punch, then another. Kobe stumbled back, didn't go down, didn't swing back. But the message was sent. Someone had swung on the Mamba. It was the kind of moment most players would let go. Kobe wasn't most players. He served his suspension, took the hit, and said almost nothing to the media. But inside, he was boiling. Because for Kobe, it wasn't about the punch. It was about the principle. Chris Childs had crossed a line, and there was no coming back. They only played a few more times, but every time they did, Kobe went at him, hard, pump fakes, spin moves, step backs. He didn't just score, he humiliated. Not because Childs was a rival, not because he mattered in the standings, but because he dared to challenge Kobe's aura. Years later, Childs joked about it, said he had to defend himself. But Kobe? He never really responded. Because in his mind, Childs had removed himself from the conversation. Kobe didn't need revenge in public. He took it possession by possession, in silence, with buckets. Because when you swing on Kobe Bryant, you don't just start a fight, you start a countdown. Smush Parker, the teammate. He never forgave. Most players on this list faced Kobe as rivals, opponents, enemies on the other side of the court. But Smush Parker, he wore the same jersey, shared the same locker room, and still Kobe hated him. Not because of a fight, not because of a quote, but because of what Smush represented. Entitlement without effort. Smush was a starter, by title, by default, not by standard. And Kobe? He couldn't stand it. Years later, he didn't hold back. He called Smush the worst, said he shouldn't have been in the NBA, not even in practice. It wasn't personal. It was principle. Kobe lived in the gym, watched film until 3 a.m., obsessed over footwork, then walked into practice and saw Smush joking around, half speed, acting like he belonged. And that's what Kobe hated most. Not trash talk, not confrontation, but wasted potential. Because for him, basketball wasn't a job. It was sacred. And if you didn't respect it, you didn't deserve to be on the floor. Smush tried to clap back, said Kobe was cold, distant, a bad teammate. But the truth? He was never supposed to be in the story. Kobe just couldn't forget him because he stood for everything Kobe fought against. Mediocrity, comfort, complacency. Even after retirement, when asked about regrets, Kobe never apologized, never softened, because the Mamba didn't forgive laziness, and he definitely didn't forgive teammates who didn't take the game seriously. In Kobe's world, the enemy wasn't always in the other jersey. Sometimes, it was standing right beside you. Kobe Bryant didn't play for applause. He played for legacy. And legacy to him wasn't about love. It was about memory and fear. He wanted you to feel him, long after the final buzzer, to remember the fadeaway that sealed it, the stare that broke you, the night you gave everything, and it still wasn't enough. He wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, but he was relentless, fueled by slights, silence, stares. If you disrespected Kobe, even for a second, he remembered. This wasn't revenge. It was identity. The Mamba mentality wasn't about motivation. It was about obsession, a refusal to blink, a refusal to break. He hated laziness, despised entitlement, feasted on arrogance. Whether you were a rival, a teammate, or a nobody who said the wrong thing on the wrong night, Kobe locked in, and he never looked away. Because in his mind, every slight was a challenge. Every challenge was a test. And every test was an opportunity to remind the world who he was. A killer, a craftsman, a vault full of names he never forgot. This has been Game 7 Stories. Subscribe for more tales of grudges, glory, and greatness. And remember, you didn't have to lose to Kobe Bryant to end up on his list. You just had to disrespect him. Once.